All right, so to get the big questions out of the way, SummerSlam was good. I don't feel like it felt like the second biggest event of the year, but none of the matches were bad. I don't think there was a single match that was horrible, but I don't know if maybe like one or two of the matches felt big for the occasion. And to answer the out of 10 rating on the thumbnail, I give it a 7. But we're gonna go through each match. I don't have any notes. I'm just going purely just off of vibes right now. So first match was Liv Morgan Io Sky for the Women's World Championship. This was a really good match. I enjoyed it a lot. And the thing I'm more surprised about is that there really wasn't a ton of interference. Like I feel like it came in maybe like kind of like halfway through the match, but it was just really like like 1 to 2 spots where Raquel pushing. Well, Roxanne distracted the referee, right? Roxanne popped up on one side. Raquel went to the corner that Io was at. She launched Io. Like obviously Io like probably pushed off and jumped, but like Raquel like pushed her from the corner damn near to the center of the ring. And like if Liv didn't like roll away, she was 100% gonna land on Liv. But the match was really good. I thought Io was gonna win because in all honesty, they haven't done anything with Liv Morgan's championship reign. Like there hasn't been a story built. So in my mind, I'm like, it's like, what's the difference between Liv being champion and Io being champion? You know, I thought maybe if Naomi was going to return or is going to return sometime soon, then you would maybe need to have the champion be a babyface because Naomi is technically heel, even though people like her, just like her character as a heel anyway. I mean, they'll boo, but I think it's still they still would enjoy it. So I think you would want a babyface to be champion when she comes back. But no, Liv retained, and the ending sequence was really, really good because Liv goes for the Oblivion, and then Io does. And I thought about this too. She does the like the handstand and like flips out of it. So it looks like Liv plants her, but Io has her hands like on like she has her hands on the ground, so she kind of handstand flips up. Then Liv does a code breaker. Then Io goes onto the ropes. Then that second Oblivion is the one that wins it. A really good ended sequence. And Io doing that little flip out just made me think of that one random match that El Clone had. And on my timeline, people were so mad that he quote unquote no sell. I think what was the move? Because I want to say it was like on a collision. I think, or maybe it was a dynamite because I saw a lot of people being like, "Oh, this is what's wrong with wrestling." Like people no selling, but he like El Clone did something similar. I want to say it was to like a destroyer or a DDT or something, where he kind of did the same like handstand flip out, and everyone's like, "Oh, he no sells." It's like, no, he reversed it. Like I remember there was a lot of discourse on it, but that's essentially what Io did, and it worked out perfectly. And that's why El Clone I think was perfectly fine. I think people were just hating on AEW just to hate on AEW, just to hate, you know. I understand. But this match was really good. I think it was a perfect opening match. And I can't say anything about ads or anything because I came into it like 15 minutes late. So it wasn't until maybe the last two matches that my live stream ended up like being back live. So I was able to skip through all the ads for the majority of the show. Now the Bloodline trios match against Royce Keys, LA Knight, and Solo. I think this match again, this was good. I feel like this is like maybe like just a slightly more elevated match that could have like been invented or wrong, to be honest. I feel like everything was pretty standard. The spot where Royce Keys like power slams Jacob like over the I cannot fucking talk. I know I say this every video, but he power slams him over the barricade into the timekeeper's area. That was pretty cool. I think Royce Keys got to show his power a decent amount. Had his time in the ring where he kind of power slammed, body slammed everybody. And Michael Cole, I'm gonna keep it up. Being Michael Cole got to tighten up. He misnames moves. He'll misname people in the ring. Like it's kind of annoying. Like how do you, like does he care? Because Royce did a spine buster and he called it a power bomb, and then Wade immediately was like, "Nah, it's a spine buster." Like not calling him out, but he was like, "Yeah, that spine buster was powerful." And it's like, brother, I know you know the difference between a power bomb and a spine buster. Like, come on. But yeah, match was good, and it's interesting how Solo is slowly getting over with just being more goofy. And I think it's really funny because there was one time in the match where Jay yeeted and nobody yeeted with him. Granted, it was a very short interaction. It was him and Jimmy double teaming somebody, and they were like running around, like running from one corner and like hitting a move on the guy in the other corner in their corner. And Jay was looking at like I think it was Royce and Knight. He like looked at him and then he did the yeet, but nobody yeeted. And I was like, oh. But then again, I'm like, maybe he didn't set it up properly. Maybe he just did it too fast. But when Solo did the run it back and had everybody yeeting, and then when he did the yeets, I think this might have been before the J spot that I'm mentioning. When he yeeted, everybody yeeted. So I wonder if literally Solo is just gonna end up taking that gimmick or taking that catchphrase out of spite to Jay instead of like Jay actually using it. Because people are still yeeting when Jay comes out, but it's not as much as it was during last year. But it would be so funny if he just ends up coming solo stuff and he's really just doing it just to get at Jay. I'm foreseeing this as actually really smart. But yeah, match was good. Again, I feel like this is like an elevated Raw match, but it wasn't bad. So I'm just glad that there wasn't like a huge stinker on this show. Gunther versus Nick Aldis was very good. I enjoyed it a lot. To me, the ending felt like it kind of came out of nowhere. But I mean, there was no way that Gunther was gonna lose. I just felt like the ending sync was maybe needed to be built up a little bit more. But that could just be because I just wanted the match to go longer. Because Nick Aldis did get out of like one sleeper situation, then got right back into another. But it just seemed like he just tapped too quickly. And that's the weird thing with some of these submission finishes. I feel like people need to like let the situation let the situation sit for a little bit. Like try to struggle a little bit and then like tap when you're like right on the verge instead of like tapping like 3 seconds in. Like I can get into some situations where like it's super locked in, you're like, no, I need to get out of here. But I feel like more people just need to like actually show like some more struggle and then tap out when it seems like they've done everything versus getting put in the hold for like 3 seconds and then just being like, nah, I can't do it. I'm being nitpicky, but it was a good match. And I think from some post show stuff, it seems like he's gonna come back as GM and probably not wrestle again. Let me not say not wrestle again, but he's gonna end up being the GM of SmackDown sometime in the future. So it's not like we won't see him at all. Now, Fatal Influence versus the Bella Twins and Paige. This is probably, I would say, like I said, all the matches are good, but if we're saying which one was the worst, I probably would say this one. I don't feel like there was a ton of heat for this. I don't know. This definitely felt like a lull match. But the main things that I want to point out, this happens, I think, some kind of early in the beginning. Fatal Influence has Bree outside, and they fucking jump this girl for like a good like 5 seconds because Laney Reed puts Bree's head on the steps. And I would attribute it to good camera work because she just lifts her foot, she just stomps her fucking head. And me and my girlfriend are watching this, and like we fucking died. Oh, my phone was ringing. Um, yeah. So Laney Reed stomps Bree's head on the steps. It just looks vicious, right? And I'm like, fuck. Like it kind of like just came out of nowhere. It just looked very violent. And then JC Jane comes in with like a cannonball on the steps to Bree. And it was just like back to back. I'm like, damn, like it was just murdering her, like almost off the rip. And I also think that Bree got injured. Let me just do a little fact check here. Yeah, so Brie Bella got injured during that match. I wonder what the spot was because I think, yeah, okay. Because she was holding one of her shoulders. And from what I'm seeing, because I remember in the match when JC does that cannonball, she ends up like holding her arm. And I think that that's what it was. When JC did that cannonball to her, when she hits, she doesn't like, she actually really doesn't hit her. Like, she doesn't land on top of her. She lands like on her shoulder. Because on the screenshot I'm looking at right now, she's like very like squished. So I think that is when she got injured when JC did that cannonball. So that's unfortunate. I wonder what this will do for the heel turn that ends up happening at the end. Because Fatal Influences, bleh, Fatal Influence wins. I honestly don't remember what the ending sequence was. I know Jason hit a rolling encore, but I don't remember the what we did to get there. But I'm glad Fatal Influence won because obviously get a push for the new girls, and Nikki and Paige can have their beef and have it be separate from the titles. I know some people thought that maybe AJ Lee was gonna come out if Brie and Nikki ended up jumping her, so that didn't happen. Now, I personally wouldn't have wanted that just because I just don't really want the Legends to be going for the titles. Like at least not the tag titles, I think. But then again, I don't know how many other women's tag teams there are, so maybe they are needed. I don't know. I'm just not super huge on the Bellas and Paige. I'm not saying it for a hater perspective. It's just they just don't click for me. So I can't sit here and say that they're like ass. But I would just prefer to see other people. That's all. Then the next match is Cody Rhodes versus CM Punk. I thought this match was good. I I think I would say it reached the standard that I thought that it would. I was kind of hoping that maybe Cody would turn heel, especially when the ref bump when the ref bump happened. I thought maybe he was going to kick Punk in the dick. Like that's what I thought we were setting up for. Instead, Randy Orton comes back. I thought the pop might be louder for Randy, but I digress. Randy comes in, RKO's Cody. Punk comes back in, GTS wins. So I think the match was good. And obviously we gotta talk about Punk missing that moonsault. And what I didn't know is my girlfriend had to mention this to me, is that he kind of looked at the crowd. He said, "Give me a break," after he missed it. And no, we cannot give you the break. You're the champion. We need you to like first of all, I don't know, like no one made you do that, you know. And I mean, in terms of setting a standard for what the champion should be doing, like maybe don't do a move that you can't do. 'Cause I don't know if there's any other time he did it. I feel like he's done it before, but the spot was meant for him to miss. But he was just way off. And the way he like tilted, I think is more of what messed him up. Because obviously I think he did it that way so that he could see where he was going and also not fully backflip. It was more of like a flatter twisted bliss than a moonsault. Cause you know like how Alexa would do it, she'll kind of like air cartwheel clip into it, but Punk's is just like way flatter. If that best describes it, like if you just adjust the axis of the flip of the turning around and just get it as close to horizontal as possible. Maybe not as close to horizontal. Let me not do too much. But it's definitely flatter than what Alexa would do. But no, we can't give you a break on missing a move that you probably shouldn't be doing. And I didn't think that he was going to do the table spot, the announced table spot, because this was after he missed the moonsault too. I'm like, brother, this is going to be rough if you miss the table, right? I was genuinely concerned if he was going to be able to make it across. But I think he also did it in the Roman match at WrestleMania, didn't he? Or was it teased there? I honestly don't remember. But he goes for the elbow from the ring post to the announce table. Cody moves out the way. I surely thought he was going to win after that, but he didn't. So yeah, and again, like the match was good. I feel like it met expectations for me. I think maybe that table spot is what got me over. But again, I still don't feel like there was like a good like there just wasn't enough juice to make it feel like the big event that it was supposed to be. Now the last match is Oba and Brock in Hell in a Cell. This match also was fine. You know, Brock getting his suplexes in, Oba getting some no selling in, doing some choke slams and all that. Now the big thing is that this really did not need to be in Hell in a Cell. It really didn't, because the only things that really happened was that there was a table spot on the outside of the ring that was in a cell. Because Oba propped up a table against the cage wall and threw block through Brock through it. And that was like earlier on in the match. And then they started using the ring steps. And Brock, with the last hit of the steel steps that he does, he just drops it on Oba, which I thought was crazy. Like he hits him, then he just drops it on him. So he just got a quick two piece from the steel steps. And then we got to talk about the Wingstop sponsored chairs. Because I saw the logo, I was like, does Brock have like the Beast logo on the fucking chairs? Nope, it's Wingstop. So yeah. And the climax of this match is Brock removing the padding from the ring so that you just see the boards. And he tombstones Oba onto this and does Undertaker's pin crossing the arms. And then Oba kicks out. Oba kicks out, hits the fall from grace powerbomb on the regular part of the ring, not on the exposed part, but on the regular part, and wins. Now, with the tombstone spot, I just wonder Did we need to use the Tombstone Power Driver for that spot, or could we have done like any other move and still had him kick out at one? And I understand the significance of it, and also because Brock did beat Undertaker and like ended the streak. But I just feel like that wasn't super necessary. I feel like maybe if he didn't do the Undertaker pin with it, like if he would have just did it without doing the crossing arms pin, maybe I wouldn't be so iffy about it. But I also feel like you could have just like F5 them on it, or maybe just did like a power bomb onto it. At least neither one of them wanted to take the bump, but obviously Oba was willing to trust Brock to put him head first on that part of the ring for that spot. And it's interesting that they didn't end the match with something being done on there. But I wonder if it's just a situation of Brock was like, "Yeah, I'm willing to, do this move to you on the exposed part of the ring, but I'm not taking a bump on there." Which, hey, it is what it is. But outside of the table spot, there's literally no reason for this to be in a cell. Like very minimal. Like it could have just been a street fight or no DQ, no holds bar. Could have been a Minnesota throwdown, whatever the hell you want to call it. But it didn't need to be in Hell of a Cell. It really didn't. Now when they do the vignettes and they have the shots of Oba doing stuff to Brock through the cage wire, it's gonna look cool. But overall, it wasn't really necessary. And then after the match ends, Brock comes back in and just says to the crowd like, "Oba's the future." And that was the end of the show. So yeah, I was there's just not any feeling in it, bro. There's not any feeling in it. Again, like it was good, but it doesn't scratch that itch. It doesn't scratch that itch, and I don't know what it would have needed more. Maybe some better angles coming out of it. Maybe some more stuff happening in that Hell in a Cell match. Because the only matches that I would say are like really, really good, I honestly would just say the first match. Liv and Io, I'd say I would give that match like an A or like a. I give it an A. If we're gonna do a letter grade, I give it an A, and then the rest of the matches, I wouldn't even. I don't think I would go back to watch. And also, I don't know if I would go back and watch the Liv Morgan Io Sky match. It was a good match, but I don't think there's anything super crazy in it outside of the ending sequence that was like super remarkable. But I do think this is a positive for the company, just in the sense that there was nothing bad on it. Because if anything would have like really stunk up the place, it would not be good with the sentiment that fans have of how like the regular shows are and how the go home shows were. If there was like just a stinker on night one, the PR would be terrible. So I think they just played it pretty safe. The matches were all longer too. I think the shortest match were the women's trios match, but every other match got at least 10 minutes. And then the Cody Punk match got 30. So yeah, actually, let me see what is supposed to be on night two. Okay, yeah, night two has the United States Championship match, Corbin and Trick, Penta, Chad Gable, the pole match with Dom and Danhausen, Sami Zayn versus Finn, the women's ladder match, and then Roman and Punk. a lot of people were saying that the second night kind of looks like mid compared to the first one, and I would say they're about the same. But then again, I think in terms of how much people care for some of the other matches on here, I can see why. But hey, we'll be here tomorrow, and then we will put some of the matches into a little grading system. Whatever the best matches are, I'll give a letter grade to, and yeah, we'll see. And then I'll give a out of 10 rating for night two, average that overall, and see what kind of grade we get. I hope that there's just something a little bit more that happens in night two, but we'll see.